Hello everyone, welcome to SillyAdventuresTo. We just got back from an amazing trip to Jamaica. We want to kind of share our thoughts. We treat this channel as something that we can always go back to in the future, see how our trips went. We can remember how they were in comparison. First of all, we just wanted to say that we're not affiliated with Sandals or any Sandals partners. We're not affiliated with anybody, so we don't have to worry about that. But this is just our opinions and thoughts on our trip. We wanted to share them with you and with ourselves in the future. So the first question is, what is Sandals? And I think there was like a commercial about Sandals. There's 5-star resorts and there's all inclusive, and then there's Sandals. Sandals is like the top tier of these all inclusive resorts. When they say all inclusive, they mean all inclusive. Everything is included. Anything that they offer is included. Water sports, drinks, anything that you can think of, all the different restaurants, all included. So which Sandals resorts have we been to? We've been to 2 so far. November of 2023, we went to Sandals South Coast, and then this year, just last week, the 15th, through the 22nd or something like that, for 7 days, we were at Dunn's River. Dunn's River is the newest Sandals resort. It was previously a resort, and then they redid it to be a Sandals resort.
Remodeled.
Yeah, they remodeled it, yep. And so they call it Sandals 2.0, supposedly. So we wanted to talk a little bit more about Sandals. We'll see if we'll put a website in, but here you can kind of see all the Sandals resorts. They're all in the Caribbean, and they have Sandals all over. There's 2 types of Sandals resorts. They have a few different kinds, but there's 2 really. There's ones that are meant for those who are 18 and older, or those who can drink in the Caribbean, which is 18 for most of those countries. So there's 18 plus, and then they have the beaches, and those beaches are more for families. So you could take your family with you. There's a whole bunch of them in Jamaica. Both of the ones that we went to were in Jamaica. One was on the South Coast, which was legitimately on the south side, and then the other one was on the more northeast side of Jamaica. Yeah, Ocho Rios, Jamaica. Yep. It was really cool. From that location, we actually could see 2 other locations. We saw Sandals Ochi and Sandals Royal Plantation. All there. You may hear the word royal in there. From what I understand, the word royal means even more fancy. Maybe Butler only, I think, type of classes. And then we'll go into different types of rooms. There's 3 different types of rooms at Sandals. There's the standard room. Maybe they call them luxury. I don't know what they quite call them because we've never done them before. But those are like the lower tier rooms. Most of the time they'll be facing inward, in towards the resort. They're the least expensive. When you first get there, you check in at like normal concierge, and then they take you to your room. You get to schedule everything that you want to do there, and you have to go get your own drinks. Not too bad of a vacation, in my opinion. The next level is club level. You get to check into a different room, a different room where they will give you a drink when you arrive. They got some light food in case there's a line, and then they'll work on your reservation for you for the different places that you can eat. And then there's Butler level, which is the only level we've ever done, the top tier level. And we'll get to why we do that here in a second. But the top tier level, they take you right from your transportation into a separate room where someone will call your butler to come pick you up and take you to your room.
Personally, take you to.
Yeah, the butler will come take you to your room. The reason that we do the butler level is because we only get to have one vacation a year. Between our kids and our careers, we only get to really do one trip per year. And we decide to do the best that we can with those trips. We have gone with friends as well, both times. So we've never experienced Sandals without another couple with us. So nothing to say there.
Well, the other reason that we do it as well is you do get higher points, and there are different levels to the
Select rewards.
So your first one is if you're a member. There's different. So again, we can kind of show a little bit more on this, but they have different levels. I think we just upgraded to the coral level, but basically it's $1 per point spent. Is that how the best explain it?
Every time you spend $1 with Sandals, you get a point. Those points can later be redeemed. You get a $50 spa credit. You get all sorts of really good things included with that. And we can share the URL to the website that has that in there.
Like different perks. But if you have the Butler status, that obviously gives you're spending more, which increases your points.
And at some level, I think it might be Diamond, you get a free week with Sandals, and that free week goes based on your average room that you've done. So if you've only ever done a Butler suite, your free week will be a Butler suite. What is the cost for Sandals? That really depends on what level you want to be at. It could be the lower level. It can be somewhere around 600 maybe a day. When you go for the higher levels, there's easily 1,000 plus per day. It really depends on what flight you take, what transportation you take, any excursions, any extras that you might have. There's all sorts of ways to add money to it. There's all sorts of ways to go for relatively inexpensive, depending on what you're looking for. The first time we went to Sandals, we stayed for 7 days. And this time when we went to Sandals, we stayed for 7 days. Both of them were a Wednesday to Wednesday, which was kind of nice because you only had like a 2-day work week. And when you get back, you only have a 2-day work week, which really kind of breaks up the trip.
It helps with if you need to take time off too for work, you're not taking off a full week, you're only taking off that part of week, Wednesday to Friday type thing.
Exactly. So something that we did unique for this trip, we recently got different credit cards. Again, we're not affiliated with anybody, but we got the Capital One Venture X card. Each of us got our own separate one. Each one costs $400 a year. It's well worth it if you're ever into credit cards. You'll see that there's so many benefits that come with that. You easily get your money back if you're responsible with your credit card. With that, each of us got TSA PreCheck and Global Entry for free, as well as Priority Pass. So we'll go through what those mean here. But Sarah and I had to take an extra trip to the Sanford International Airport.
To schedule the appointment.
Yeah, to get an appointment so that we could clear TSA, in which we did. We got our cards and everything. So when we got to the airport, we got to go straight to the TSA PreCheck line. First time ever, never done it before. We didn't have to take off our shoes, which felt weird. We felt like we had no idea what we was doing. Like our first time ever through security. We didn't have to take off our shoes, and you even have to do that machine where you get to put your hands up. Didn't have to do that.
No pat downs.
No pat downs. You just walk through a machine that had like the metal detector, I think. You just walk through that, and they just kept pushing you through. Simple, easy. Oh my goodness, so much easier. I don't know if I could ever go back to not using TSA PreCheck. So use TSA PreCheck. It is awesome. And then we have, I think that was the end of the perks that we kind of had getting in there, right? Getting into the airport.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was all that was really there.
Well, Priority Pass is next.
Yeah, but that's on the way back.
Oh.
That's not on this one.
Okay, but you can use Priority Pass at any airport.
Yeah,
A
so
Priority Pass is the lounge.
So we'll talk about Priority Pass. She's bringing it up because we didn't even get to use it at the MCO airport. So
It depends on your airline.
We tend to fly out of MCO, and with our credit card as a side benefit, you also get Priority Pass included. So we're both Priority Pass members, and we get to invite guests and all sorts of really cool benefits with that. But with Priority Pass, you get to go into any lounge that is a Priority Pass lounge, and there's a few for the MCO airport, but they're at different terminals. And we were at a completely different terminal. We always like to get first to our terminal, to our flight, before we branch out and start looking to other places. By the time we got to our terminal, we only had like an hour, hour and a half before our plane left, and the terminal was far away to get to this lounge. So we did not use our priority pass at all for anything to do with MCO, but we did use it at Jamaica.
Yeah, which we'll get to.
So the plane, we opted for just normal plane tickets through Southwest. Sometimes I really like Southwest and sometimes I don't. I like Southwest that there's open seating. I don't like it because it's open seating. I don't like that you can almost bring as many bags as you want. You can bring 2 bags with you and check 2 bags. That's just a crazy amount. That's very nice for Southwest, but at the same time, it could really cause some slowness because it's designed to where everyone can bring one like wheelie bag with them and put it in the top, and everything else has to go underneath you. And they say it out loud, and they tell people what to do, and people don't do it. They don't follow the instructions. So it just becomes this mess when it comes to boarding and deboarding.
That's another rant for another day.
But we saw how many people were there, and that was a full plane, and we were like, man, this has got to be something better than what we have today. So right before they started boarding, we went to the front desk and we asked if there's any upgrades available. They said yes, A2 or A3 and A8 were available, which means you're some of the first people on the plane after all the people who have medical passes. You're one of the first group to go on. So we purchased that, $90, $45 each for that. That was
worth it.
Very much well worth it. Absolutely. You could pay even more on the website to do that, but it was just do it there or look for something as inexpensive as you can. So it was $90 for us to get some of the first people on the plane. We got the first row, which is good and bad. First row, you have no one in front of you. You have extra leg room, but you cannot have any bags with you. They have to go in the bin. So both of our bags that we had to be up in the top.
Personal items and.
Yep. But it was nice to be in the front row, to be the first ones off. So as soon as you get to the MBJ airport, which is the Jamaican Montego Bay airport, it is always crazy. We arrived the very last terminal, which meant we have felt like a mile walk to get to customs. It was a really long walk, and then customs is always crazy. But we got through customs just fine. You have to fill out a form ahead of time, which is really easy to do.
Which they email you. Sandals will email you this to make sure that you get it completed before you arrive, just to make it easier.
Well, technically, Southwest tells you.
Southwest tells you?
Yeah, Southwest does it.
I thought Sandals does it too, though.
No, Southwest does it. It's Southwest job. Southwest told us to do it. They told us over and over again, fill it out your form, which is really easy to do online. It really is simple. So we did that way ahead of time, and it was easy. So when you get to the customs, you just basically have to take your picture. Then they have all your information in there. You scan your passport, and then they let you in. Once you get through the MBJ airport and all the customs, you'll arrive to a fairly large room where there's all these different hotel chains will have a place to check in. So you go to the Sandals one, which
there's different lounges.
There's different lounges, and this one has a Sandals lounge. Our first time we got to the Sandals lounge with South Coast, it was really nice because there was almost no one there. So they checked us in and they said, which one are you with? They grab your bags, and then they say, what do you want to drink? Do you want some wine? Do you want a beer? Do you want Coke? Do you want some light snacks? And they have those available. This time when we went there, it was jam-packed. It was so busy.
Maybe it was the time of year, but yeah, last time we went, it was in November. This time we went in January, so.
It was very, very busy. So we had to wait in line for our beer. But I got a beer, she got a beer. In Jamaica, they have a beer called Red Stripe, which is a really nice lager. We both really like Red Stripe. And it just feels like Sandals. It feels like Jamaica. So we got that.
Yeah.
Yep. And this time we opted to go for a private transport. So last time when we were in South Coast, we took a bus with a bunch of people.
It was a van.
It was a van, van that took 2 hours or so to get to South Coast. There was no stopping, there was no drinks, there was no snacks. It was just literally a transport that took you to your Sandals destination. This time, And so we opted for the private transport this time. We've never done it before, and we thought, let's try it. Sarah got a bonus at work. So to be upfront, the cost for the private transport is $225 each way. So from the airport to Sandals, specifically Dunn's River and Dunn's River back, $225 both ways. What's included with that is you get your own private car. In this case, it was a BMW, right?
Yes.
Yeah, BMW.
Driver.
And a driver, and that driver opens the car door for you and closes the car door for you. In Jamaica, you get to drink in the car. Even the driver gets to drink in the car. Just don't drink too much, they say. So they have a cooler in the front in their passenger seat that they will just, whenever you say you're ready, they'll hand you your glasses for your wine, or they'll hand you your beer and you can just drink it in the back. They have waters and they have some light snacks in the car for you. And you tell that driver what you want to do. Do you want to stop somewhere? Do you want to go to a mall? Do you want to go to, in our case, we went to a chain called Juicy Patties.
I think it was Juicy.
Juicy Patties.
Juicy Patties?
Yes,
Okay.
Juicy Patties, yep. And that's a chain in Jamaica that make Jamaican patties. Jamaican patties are they have like a outside crust that's kind of like a pastry, almost like
a pastry shell is what Google described it as.
almost like a chicken pot pie, right on the outside.
Flaky crust.
And then on the inside, you can either get beef or chicken. Those are the most normal flavors. And the chicken is like a curry chicken. So imagine you make curry chicken and then you have your leftovers. You put it in something like that. So we were able to ask our driver to stop off there at a location, supposedly where Christopher Columbus landed in Jamaica and discovered Jamaica, even though people were already there. So we stopped at a place that has a wide open bathroom that you're able to use, and the next door is a place called Juicy Patties. We asked our driver, do you want some Juicy Patties? And he said, sure, I'll take 2 chicken. I love them. So we bought him 2 chicken, and then
Which you don't have to do, by the way.
You don't. We just wanted to, and then we bought two juicy chickens, Juicy Patty chickens, and 1 beef. That total did come to about $12. So the experience there was, they said, "Are you paying in Jamaican or American?" And we said American. And then I asked, because I'm trying not to spend my cash that I brought with me, can I use my credit card? And they said, sure can, no problem. And they tried to tap it, and the tap didn't work. And then she inserted it, and it worked just fine. So, surprisingly, credit card there in Jamaica works just fine, no problem. The patties were great. Probably some of the best patties I've ever had. The juiciest patties I've ever had.
Yeah.
We did have some pictures, too, of us there at the Juicy Patties. There was one notice of notice there could be bones in the Juicy Patties, be careful. So that was interesting. And then we did arrive. It was about an hour and a half drive to Sandals, Dunn's River. So
From the airport.
Yep.
Montego Bay Airport to Sandals Dunn's River.
Yep. And we got there and were greeted by a group of people who gave us a nice cold compress. I never know what to do with that. Do you put your hands, your face, other places? I don't know what to do with that.
Well, and they're watching you. They're like, here. And you're like,
I was just in air conditioning, so I don't know if I really need it. It smells like eucalyptus or something. It smells fresh, but you're like, I don't know what to do with this thing. So I just wipe my hands and lightly tap my face, and they're like waiting for you to give it back to them. So I did.
Yeah.
And then they walked us to our to the Butler concierge level. So we were pleasantly surprised by a familiar face there, which I was not expecting to see. Our first Sandals vacation was with 2 butlers called Jamoy and Patreon. Patreon, yes. And surprisingly...
That was in South Coast.
Yeah, surprisingly, we get there, and another couple are being helped, and Patreon's there.
helping them.
Yeah,
It
so,
was
oh,
their
hey.
butler.
So it was great to see him. I don't know if he remembered us or not. He pretended to, at least, which is nice. But it was cool to see a butler from South Coast move over there. He said that he loves it over there, and he feels a little bit maybe safer in that part of Jamaica. But it was great to see him. He was a joy. So if you have a choice in your butler, Patreon is great. I really like him a lot. So that was great. They took us to our room, and then we have that room tour on YouTube that you can see here. That was probably one of the best rooms we've ever seen. It was probably the best room in all of that whole Sandals Dunn River. It was amazing. Right on the water, you could see both sides right into the suite as well. The whole resort.
And I can link that one below. And we do have a tour of that one. What it was called, the name. So if you want to book or look into booking that one, I would recommend that one. It was beachfront access.
Mm-hmm. So. We were on the 4th floor, and then our friends got the same exact room, and theirs was on the 2nd floor. Mm-hmm. They had the same set of butlers that we had as well. Yeah, that room was great. We could show some things in the YouTube video that there were some interesting issues there that maybe the quality wasn't as good as it was at South Coast. South Coast quality was amazing. That one, it felt like hurry up and get it ready for people to be here.
Yeah, I was going to say, they said it was remodeled, but there were some things that still didn't look quite done.
Yeah. And in your room, you got all sorts of beers and wines and things to drink. Not really much to eat. It's one thing I wish Sandals would change is have a few snacks in there. Have some chips or something that, if someone's hungry, that they can quickly go for that. But yeah, if you take a look at that room tour, you'll see it all. The beach view was amazing. We loved that room. That room, besides some of the cosmetic issues, was great. A few cons about that room. I told you about the remodeling, but there's 2 split AC units in there, and none of them ever went below 70 degrees. So I like it cold when I'm sleeping. I like it cold, in the morning, and it never got cold. It got okay, but I was still sweating a little bit. So there's maybe some governor or something on them that even though you set the temperature to lower, it never got lower. It just stopped cooling at some point between the 2. The butlers that we had at this one were Rock Wayne, so Rock Wayne was his first name. Then the other one is Iran. So the food, the way it works at Sandals is there's always 2 places to get breakfast, 3. So there's a buffet style where you can go between certain hours and they'll sit you down. You get whatever you want to drink, mimosas or coffee, and then you go to a buffet that's better than your traditional buffet, and you get your food there. The 2 places we've been to, they will always serve. They have omelets where they'll make them fresh for you. So someone will be there with a frying pan. You go and tell them what you want in your omelet, and they'll make it right there for you. Very good. Some of my most favorite omelets are made at Sandals. The other breakfast option is just get it delivered to your room. You can fill out a piece of paper or contact the front desk. They'll bring it to you. The portions tend to be small when it comes to room service, so I would recommend being specific on what you want. And then the last option is a more a la carte type of breakfast, where a la carte one tends to be the best of them all. They make it fresh. So it's a much longer experience. You should expect longer time for your breakfast, but you sit down, they get you wherever you want to drink, you put in your a la carte order, and they bring it out to you. We only did this one time, but at South Coast we did it multiple times. At South Coast, you're right on the beach, legitimately on the beach, being served breakfast. Coffee, you got your avocado toast with was it bruschetta or something like that?
Some kind of ham or some type of meat. It was really good.
She loved that.
Yes.
Here at Dunn's River, it was not, I don't think it was as good. And the service did take longer than it did at the South Coast. So that's like the breakfast options that you have, and then lunch. A lot of places are open, including the Jerk Shack, which is a place that every Sandals has. That at least I heard of, where they have jerk type food. But yeah, from like noon to 5, and then from 5 on, you'll have the different dinner places. Each Sandals resort depends when it comes to dinner on if they require specific things, attire or a reservation. So the one at Dunn's River was that required a reservation to dress up was the French cuisine one, which oddly enough wasn't our favorite. Our favorite was split between two different ones. There was an Italian place, which had really good pasta.
Really
and then there was a
Mediterranean
Greek one. And that one had some really good, like tender pork gravy and very, very good.
Again, all of it can be found on the website. I know we're not getting too specific on it, but.
And then our least favorite is the Asian. It was supposed to be this fusion between Japanese, Vietnamese, all the different Asian type of food, and it just came out greasy.
Really greasy.
It was just it tasted okay, but you knew that if you ate any more, you would pay for it. You and or someone that you loved would pay for it in the end. So.
Not in a good way.
So we ate a little bit and kind of walked out not feeling great. Another note about the food though is that they did change it recently. The food used to be you would get a whole big plate of whatever you ordered, and now it's served more tapa style, which I like. I want to try 4 or 5 different things, and here they do that. Between the entrees and the appetizers and the dessert, you order as many as you want. They give you a menu, no prices. Here's the menu options, and you could ask the waiter for one thing. You can ask the waiter for everything. I want to try one of everything, please. And no matter what you order, it's always order tapa style, which I really like that. And then the last thing we'll talk about food is the experience between a butler and a non-butler. So with a butler, you get your food, whatever you want, delivered to you anytime, anywhere, as long as they're serving that food. So if you want the Mediterranean food the next day delivered to your room, they will deliver it to your room. You tell them what you want, what they have, what you want, and they'll give it to you.
Oh, so we forgot to mention something about the butler that's important. How do you get in contact with your butler?
You have a special butler phone, of course. They give you a phone that you can text and or call your butler anytime during their normal working hours, which varies between 7 to 10 or 8 to 6 or something, or 8 to 7, something like that.
They let you know.
They let you
the day
know.
Before.
Yep.
That's why you have 2 butlers, because they rotate.
Yep. They'll either rotate 1 per day or 2 split days. Both of them will split the day.
So when you arrive in your room, that's what they show you. They say, here's your butler phone. You can contact me. You can call or text. And then that's what we're saying about the food is you can text them to bring that up to your room and they'll bring it to you.
Yep. Or on the beach or anywhere you want. So the first day we were there, a little side story, we were sitting on the beach and Sarah really wanted to read her book, but she forgot her book in the room.
And I didn't want to go all the way back up.
So what did she do? We texted the butler and said, we want 2 espressos and Sarah's book, which is here in the room. Could you deliver it to us? And we have a picture of that, of the butler bringing it to us on the beach. It was amazing.
It was so nice. And we're not used to this, so
No.
it was so amazing.
Yeah, it was really nice. So going back to food with the butler, if you don't have a butler, you have to set up your own reservations. A lot of the places you can just show up, but there could be a line. You could be waiting 10 minutes to get into some of these locations or more based on who's there and who's not there and how many people are waiting to check in. With a butler, they
bypass.
Your butler will, first of all, depending on the time and location, will pick you up from your location. So in South Coast, our butlers would ask where we were. They would come to our place that we were, whether it's the beach or our room or our friend's room, and they would walk us to escort you to your place to eat. At Dunn's River, they did not do that, so that's an interesting difference. That was not something that they did. But either way, they would meet you at your place to eat. They would go to the front desk, find an open table, and then They would take you to your table. Your butler would get you your water and then anything you wanted to drink. So every location has their own special, unique drink, cocktail, and they have their own, and then they have just a general selection of wines. So at every place that we went to, we said, "What's your drink your special drink?" Didn't matter what they said. We say, "Get that," and then we would ask for the different kind of wines, and they would get that. And then your butler would hand you off to your normal waiter. What's nice is there could be these huge lines with the butler. You just bypass them all. You're just right first in line, which is just really awesome.
You just give them your room number, and then you're like, okay, here's your seat.
Yeah, it was really nice. So that's food. And what's really weird and interesting to feel is just whenever you're done, you just get up to leave.
Yeah.
If you're done, just leave. You don't have to wait.
You don't have to wait for the bill, the check, nothing.
Just leave.
Just get up and go.
The coffee bar. So every Dunn's or every Sandals location will have a coffee place. In this case, they had a special coffee bar, and it was amazing. They had some really great coffee there. They always had some pastries. This one had some spirited ones called, one was called the Black Pearl. It was awesome. One of my favorite ones. It included the signature Jamaica rum in it, and it tasted great. So top marks to Dunn's River for their coffee bar. It was great. The one in South Coast was good, and I'm not saying anything bad about that one. I think maybe we just didn't know.
Yeah. One little con about it, though, it is far away, so you do have to walk a little bit to it, but I guess that would be a benefit of the butler, is you could just ask them to go get it for you.
Yep. Yeah. It is kind of far away and uphill. Mm-hmm. It's sounds terrible.
Yeah.
Next, we're going to talk about drinks. They have all sorts of places to get drinks. I mean, you don't have to walk very far.
They got a pool bar. They got a beach bar.
Swim up pool bar.
Swim up, and but they did have a dedicated rum bar.
Yep. So the going specifically to the drinks first is some interesting things we notice is our friends like to do shots, and we will do the occasional shot as well. For example, a green tea shot. But those shots that we got every time were different, and not in a good way.
Yeah.
So it seemed like the bartenders at Dunn's River weren't quite trained.
Yeah.
The ones at South Coast were well trained. You could ask for anything and they would get it for you. But the ones at Dunn's River that felt like they didn't quite know what they were doing. When we asked our butlers to get us something, the butlers would go behind the bar and make the drink for you and bring it to you.
It would taste better.
They knew what they were doing. They were better trained than the other people. So that was just something that we noticed. But the simple drinks, the daiquiris or the anything else like pina coladas, yeah. you can't mess that up, right? They know what they're doing and they do those a lot. So those are great. They had a special, unique place here at Dunn's River called the Rum Club, which really like that place. That was one of the coolest places they've ever had. It has got rum from all over the Caribbean, and specifically Jamaica there. They have the 15-year Appleton Estate Jamaican rum, which was just so smooth. Mm-hmm. So I ordered old fashioned, and the old fashioned by default comes with a 12-year rum, and I said no, I want the 15-year rum. So
you can ask.
You can just ask. They have a whole menu with all sorts of different rums that you could drink from, and you ask for anything, all the things, anything, no prices, no tips. You just, I want that, whatever you want. It was amazing. If I had one regret is I didn't get a chance to stay in there long enough to try enough different kind of Jamaican rums. But we did have a few. We did the 15-year rum, and then there was another one that was 20 years old, an XO or something like that.
Yeah, and it has a speakeasy vibe. If you've ever been to like a speakeasy bar, it has like the nice dim lighting. It has comfy chairs with like a little table, and they did have light snacks there too, right? They had oxtail slider, which we tried, and then like some fries and stuff. But the main thing are the drinks there.
Yeah, and those are really great. I would highly recommend if you ever get to the Dunn's River, or if it's important to you to have a rum club, go to the Dunn's River. Really awesome. We did get to do the hobby cat. So what that is there's water sports included when you go to a Sandals resort, and one of those you get to do like kayaking, paddleboarding. One of them is a hobby cat, which is a boat that has like 2 pylons to it, and then a sail, and it's connected with like some nylon netting.
So how I explained it to the kids, and our daughter was like, "Oh, so like Moana's boat." So I said, "Yes, basically."
Yes. Oh, that's very true. Yep.
Yeah.
And it was nice. So you can take it by yourself. So her and I could go, or I could just go. But in this case, we'd never done it before. So we asked if someone could take us, and they do. They'll hop on the boat with you and take you on a 20-minute excursion. This particular Sandals has a reef around it that provides like a cove. So normally the ocean has like some really big waves over there, but they hit this barrier, and then they become way less, and then the waves are much smaller there. So he took us around there, and we get to see different Sandals resorts from afar and get close to other resorts. There was even an Airbnb next to us that we got to see fairly close. I thought we were like going to run aground, but he's like, "Oh, we're fine." It's like, "Oh, I'm glad you're taking us."
So it's not it's wind powered. I don't know if anyone knows what that. I didn't know what it was. So it's not motor run or anything like that. You have to steer it into the wind or along the wind. I don't remember how he explained it, but it's wind powered.
Yep. There's like a sail in it, and it either goes one of 2 ways, and depending on where you're sitting, you get to duck or move, because it can go pretty fast, like just like that.
Yeah.
And it's like, hopefully you're not there when that happens, but you just duck when you change directions, and you're fine.
That was a highlight of the trip, though, for me. I recommend doing that on every Sandals trip if you can, because it is included. So on the South Coast one, we didn't do it, but the Dunn's River one we did. And it just, you felt so free, like with the ocean, it was splashing your face, and it was fun.
The water didn't get more than 8 feet deep,
Yeah.
so it wasn't ever that deep. It was just crystal clear, blue, pretty water.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, that was we didn't record because we didn't know what it was going to be like there, but we had a great time there. That was definitely a highlight. The beach, we'll talk about the beach there. Both Sandals that we went to, we just heard recently that those were the best places to go if you're looking for a beach vacation. So we're glad we got to do them, but kind of sad that the next places that we'll go to probably aren't known for their beaches. But we are beach people. We love the beach. It's our favorite place to be. And South Coast by far is the best beach. They have these thatched umbrellas that just block a lot of the sun and give you like a nice tiki vibe where you would sit. At the beach, they don't have that. They have these plain umbrellas there.
At Dunn's?
At Dunn's River, yep. But what's nice is those umbrellas, I mean, they got pretty windy, but those umbrellas, they kept you, they never fell, they never knocked anyone out.
They were cloth
yeah.
umbrellas.
Yep. Yeah. So another thing we didn't talk about when it comes to the Butler is they'll ask you, so tomorrow, what do you want to do?
Where do you want to be?
Do you want to freestyle it? Do you want to book an excursion? What do you want to do? And based on what your answer, they will reserve your spot for you. So if you want to go to the beach, they'll reserve one of the best beach spots for you because they get to pick it up first. They'll have your number or name there.
On a cooler. And in that cooler will be whatever you want.
Whatever you want. We tended to have the Red Stripe water and mimosas. Mm-hmm. But again, it doesn't necessarily matter what's in that cooler because you could just get anything you want anyways. But just having your drinks right there available to you and having your spot saved, whether by the beach or the pool, was awesome and amazing. And I really enjoyed that.
One thing they did say, though, at Dunn's, I don't know if they said it at South Coast, but at Dunn's River, they said, well, we are reserving this until 10 a.m. You have to put a personal item on there. Otherwise, it could be up for grabs. So just make sure that you, once they reserve your spot, you at least put, a shoe or something to make it known that that is your reserved spot.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's important. We did do one excursion. We tended to do one excursion each time, and they tend to be more nature driven. So the first time we did YS Falls
in
South Coast, and we did the Appleton Rum tour. This time we did Blue Hole, which included 2 different kind of events. One is where you jumped into some legitimately blue holes. They were wide open places where the water had collected from some waterfalls, and you would jump. You start off with a small jump, and eventually you ended up with some pretty intense jumps. The second to last one was 20 feet tall. You ran off of a concrete pad right into the water. Sarah went first. She did great.
It was fun. I was scared, but fun.
So as a quick side note, they would take our glasses because we were the only 2 with glasses, that prescription glasses. So they took it from us so you could kind of see.
Would you have a guide, that will help walk through and get you to your spot? But he's the one that took our glasses.
So then it was my turn, and I started to go, and then I started to slow down, and he said, "Keep going."
He actually pushed off the edge.
I'm so glad he did because I got to do it. But man, that was intense. It was a 20-foot drop, and it felt.
It was scary.
Yeah,
but it was very fun.
Very fun.
I did get water in my ear, so if you are prone to that, just maybe bring something because I was a little bit miserable afterwards. That's a side note, but overall, it was amazing. It was fun, and I can put some pictures on this video too of some of the highlights.
And that excursion would have been $350 for total combined between us.
For 2 people.
But we rebooked while at Sandals, and because we rebooked, you get a $100 credit either towards the spa or towards an excursion. So we took the $100 and put it towards that excursion. So that excursion cost us $250. It is worth it to rebook while you're at Sandals. You get some fairly significant discounts while there. So my recommendation is to do that. When you rebook, you also do get 1 bottle of their signature rum. Anything else about that? I'm going to go next to the spa.
Did you want to talk about South Coast, that YS Falls? To compare it? Do you want to do a comparison?
I think both excursions were great. For comparisons, I think YS Falls was a better experience. So that one was a 10. This one was an 8. It was good.
It was still good. I'm not complaining at all. But if you're more like adventurous side of it, Dunn's River would be that because you do a lot of walking, a lot of hiking. You have to get up to those places at the falls, and then you jump down and swim. Oh, and then we did do tubing. Did we explain tubing?
Yeah. So the second part, besides jumping in the blue hole, the next part was tubing. And they offered drinks while tubing. So you'd be going down, and they had little bars that were floating. So our friends. We decided we'd pay for the tips for everyone and they would pay for the drinks. So we ended up with a big bottle of signature rum, and I had a Red Stripe and Sarah had a rum punch. And so we had that while we were tubing, and it was amazing. Whoever that tubing route, it was so cool. It went from very gentle to very fast, very rocky. You had to wear a life vest
and a helmet.
Yeah.
The one thing they did say was if you do have glasses, it is at your own risk to keep them on. I personally think we probably could have kept ours on, but to be on the safe side, because we didn't know what to expect, we did take them off, but I'm practically blind without my glasses, so it was a little bit hard for me to see things. So we did do a lot of recording, but it would be at your own discretion, but I would have said that it would have been fine to keep them on.
Yeah, definitely. And the other recommendation, if you are drinking when you go down the falls, lift your drink up. They tell you, but make sure you lift your drink up so it doesn't get knocked over or get something in it.
Moving on.
Some of the cons that we wanted to talk about. So we already talked a little bit about it. The beach was much smaller at Dunn's River than South Coast. South Coast beach was purely magical.
Yeah.
This beach is still great. Don't hear me say anything negative, all right? I would highly recommend any of these places, but the beach at Dunn's River was smaller than South Coast.
And again, these are only our opinions. I'm sure you have your own preference.
The TV situation was not great there at Dunn's River. So we went during the Lions-Washington Commanders playoff game. That's a whole other story.
We'll get to it. We are Lions fans, just so you know.
But when we went to go try to watch it, there's all these different bars that you could go to. None of them worked except the Rum Club. But you went to the Rum Club and you're put in this relatively small room with two pool tables and 5 chairs.
Limited
And
seating.
yeah, and there's a whole bunch of people in there, and it's very warm.
Not very good AC. Yeah.
No, and you try to watch the game, and they're watching it on crackedstreams.net or something like that. Like, it wasn't even legitimate. It was on some Fire Stick with a cursor going to a browser so that they could try to watch this game. It kept freezing, it kept pausing, and it wasn't working. And it costs to have the NFL ticket $1,000. Let's say $1,000 a year. That's well worth the cost to have people be able to watch the game. So the most amount of people go there, from my understanding, from the United States. We like our football. Number 1, let us watch football. Number 2, we're going to be just sitting there drinking without having to need a butler or anyone else for 4 or 5 hours, right? Why can't they make that work? I don't get it.
And that was the only place, because we went on, the girls went in our friend group, we traveled all throughout the resort. We went on a long hike, and that was the only place that had a working TV with the game on. But again, it was in and out and wasn't very good. But that was the only place available.
So our solution was, I bought a subscription to DAZN, DAZN, which is a broadcaster that allows you to watch the game. So I paid $10 to watch that game in our friend's room on their 13-inch laptop. Great time.
We got close.
We did get close as a group, sitting there huddled watching that game. At least it was cool in their room.
Yes.
Like, that was a nice benefit. So that was kind of crazy. The other thing I want to talk about was the event space. So in South Coast, they had a whole building dedicated to events.
For entertainment and events.
Every night they would do some events and entertainment in that building. They could have as loud as they want and no one heard it. At this location in Dunn's River, there were no event space. It was outside in the courtyard. And it was loud and it was bright. And in our room, which a lot of rooms face the same direction, it was bright and loud. Loud to where you couldn't sleep.
Until the event ended.
Which was around 11:30. You cannot sleep until 11:30. I was ready for bed at 8, 9 o'clock. Old man here, right? And nope, can't sleep because the bass is thumping until 11:30. I don't understand that. Like, if we're thinking about experiences and feelings of people, not everyone wants to stay up till 11:30. If they want to stay up till 11:30, they're going to go to the event where the bass is thumping. And if you don't, then you're going to go to your room and go to bed, but you can't go to sleep. So my recommendation, and I know they're probably not going to watch this, but play your bass real loud and go into a few different rooms that are empty. Do you hear it? Lay down in the bed. Can you hear it? If you can hear it, that's a problem. Do something different. I don't know what to do that's different, but there was a few nights that I wish I could have gotten better sleep. If we had gone to bed earlier, that would have been nice.
So again, with the entertainment part of it, before your dinner, you could go to what was called the rooftop bar, and you could play games, or they would give you like a cocktail party. They had different like themed things before your dinner, but just a con with that is it didn't feel very organized. So that was one thing that I wish it was a little bit more organized with that.
We did go to one event.
Yeah,
and
rooftop.
Yeah, at the rooftop bar. And I went to like 5:30 or 6 o'clock, and they ended with a newer song from Bruno Mars. We're not going to say the name of the song, but it just came out. Mm-hmm. And so they started playing that, and we left.
It was a request. You could request any song, so someone requested the song at that event.
We came back at like 9 o'clock at night. We were doing nightlife. It was so late. And they're still playing the same song. That same song had been on loop for hours and hours and hours. There was no one up there.
Well, there was one person over there. We asked her, and she said, "Yeah, I think I've heard it about 4 times now."
literally there was no one up there besides one person
One
who had just gotten up there because they didn't realize it was playing on
Yeah.
repeat. Like, why didn't someone do anything about that?
Yeah.
Why didn't they curate that experience? People pay a good amount of money to go to Sandals, and that was just kind of an odd thing. And so we didn't stay up there because we're like, we just heard this song a few hours ago, and it's already on repeat, and I don't want to hear it again.
So just another side note to that is South Coast. They had that one dedicated building, and that's where they would have the games and the entertainment, and it felt fun because you could volunteer to play. And then this one, it was just kind of like it just seemed unorganized at Dunn's River, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah. Then there is one special dinner a week. So anyone who is at that, I think it's the middle club level
I think it's
that
called
we talked
Welcome
about.
Back.
There's a special dinner once a week where I don't understand this dinner. We went to it the first time we went to Sandals. We weren't technically supposed to, but our friends got us in. So at South Coast, our first time, they give you a necklace with these little sandals.
Which was really cool.
They do a speech.
A short speech.
And then they give you a
Cocktail hour.
curated 3-course menu. And during those 3 courses, one of the people who works there will go to your table and talk to you. It's kind of like a networking event. It's kind of interesting. At the very end, you get 1 bottle of signature rum, and then the night is over. That night, the first time we were there, easily lasted 2 hours. This one, we started going to it, and I can tell you right now, I'm glad we didn't go. We skipped out on it. We actually left in the middle of it. Not even the middle of it, the beginning of it. Because the guy, he's like the primary manager of Sandals Dunn River. He was going on and on giving us a history lesson of this place. And the history lesson was like 25 minutes long. He's just sitting there talking. We didn't get the sandals. We got the signature drink of the night, which was basically a
Not very well mixed.
Not
cocktail.
very well made cocktail. It was like the blue sugar,
I don't say that.
and then with just a little bit of champagne. That was the signature drink of the night. So it wasn't even all that great. I didn't like it. And the guy's sitting there talking, and it's like, you could have given us a short 3-minute history lesson, but he's going like deep
On and on.
in history. Back in 1952, and let's talk about that for the next 20 minutes. And you're like, oh my goodness, I'm paying big money to be here, and this guy's just going on and on. So we decided to go to the Rum Club instead, and then we went to Italian. So during this whole time, we left 10, 15, 20 minutes into this guy's talking. We went to the Rum Club, we got a drink, we got a few appetizers. We made our way slowly to the Italian place, got checked in there, had appetizers, food, drinks. When we left, they were just then serving dessert at this curated dinner. My recommendation to anyone going there is don't go to that dinner. It is a waste of time.
Well, again,
That's personal
it's our
opinion. You pay big money to be there.
Yeah.
Going to that thing, having to talk to an employee for your meal, getting a curated venue that's not even as great as some of the other food options, is just not worth it. And at the very, like, what do you get for going to this dinner? You're supposed to get sandals. They don't give it to those to you, at least not at Dunn River. You're supposed to get, depending on what level you're at, supposed to get some recognition. So a few people clap for you and you get a pen. So you get that. And at the very end, you get a bottle of rum. But here's the thing. The next day, we just told our butler, we didn't get the bottle of rum. We went there and they said they ran out or whatever. Sure, maybe we'll get it for you. And we got a bottle of rum.
So I don't know if that's a hack.
It is a hack. Don't go to the dinner. To me, 100%. Not worth it. Maybe if I'm diamond someday, whatever that means.
If you want to get recognized at a certain level, then go. And if that's your thing, if you want to socialize with it's not really ours, but if that's your thing and you want to socialize with other people and do that, go ahead. But for us, it wasn't worth it.
Yeah, definitely not worth it at all. And then we, after 7 days, we had our drive back. We had a different private driver, but same route back. We stopped at the same place to use the bathroom. I guess it's a very popular place. It was nice to again just have that line on the way back. This at the airport, we actually got to use their party pass. So the Sandals offers you can pay $70 for a couple in order to get access to this party pass. Ours was free, so we didn't have to pay that $70.
With the credit card.
Yep, it came with a credit card.
Yep.
But what that gets you at MBJ is it gets you priority access through security as well. So you go to the special kiosk and you present your party pass, or you present the receipt, proof of purchase through Sandals. So we presented our party passes. They said, great, we'll a special receipt. And in that special receipt, you get to bypass the normal line and go to a special security line, which was much faster, kind of like a TSA pre-check. But they still check everything. They still make you take your shoes off. But it's just a much quicker line. And then you get to go into 1 and 2 lounges. You get to pick which lounge you can go to.
I think it was called Club Mobay.
Yep, Club Mobay. And so at that club, they serve all the drinks that you want. And they have a buffet with some light fare, including...
Really good buffet.
Yeah,
Jamaican buffet.
including the Jamaican patties. And then like a salad wrap that Sarah really liked.
Tried to recreate it, didn't work.
Yeah, she tried to create it tonight and it didn't have the same effect. And then they had like a really nice bean stew there that we really liked. It was a little bit spicy. It was really good. But it's nice to get to the airport and not have to wait where everyone else waits and be able to have all the food and the drink that you want. So that was really nice. Everything is tip based there. So keep in mind that even though it's Sandals stops and starts at a certain point. So when you're at the airport, it's a whole different crew. They're not Sandals. It's worth tipping them. Same for Club Mobay. It's worth tipping them. Another quick side note is when we got to the airport on our way back, there are people who have like these red hats, and they will take your bags for you to your airport, your airline. Well worth the cost. I will tell you that. You don't have to use them. They're optional. But this guy, he loaded up our bags. He took us to our Southwest terminal. We didn't know if we were like priority people or not with Southwest. We have no idea. We just told him we're A-class seats. Like, I don't know what that means. Group A. He's like, I don't know. So he went and talked to someone at Southwest, and they're like, just let them through the priority line.
So we got to bypass.
Whether we were or not, but this red hat guy was able to talk this girl into getting us into there. We ended up tipping him $5. It was well worth the $5. He took us right to where we needed to go in a super busy airport at a super busy time, got us priority access. I'll tell you right now, it's worth the small tip. It really is. And then we flew back home, and that was our trip. Overall, we're going to give our rating now. We have South Coast, and we have Dunn's River. Sarah, how do you want to rate each one of these on a scale of 1 to 10?
South Coast was probably a 9 out of 10. And then Dunn's River, I'd say 7 out of 10.
And I would agree, except I give South Coast a 10. And the only reason I give South Coast a 10 is because those are our first ever Sandals vacation, our first ever real vacation. And to go all out, to have the experience that we had, to just everything included, being with my amazing wife, this was a 10 out of 10. Awesome. And I agree, Dunn's River is a 6 or 7. It's okay for me.
Still beautiful, still relaxing. So far, that room that we had was really nice because you could literally just look out your window, roll the curtains back, and then there was the water.
You could hear it at night. If the bass wasn't thumping, you can hear the water.
Ocean, yeah.
Even while you're in the bathroom, you can hear the waves. It's great. So what's next? What's next is Sarah and I have already booked our next Sandals vacation. We are going to Royal Plantation and Royal Caribbean. So look for another video soon from us on that. So feel free to follow along, like, subscribe, so that you can hear how our adventures go with that. We're also getting Butler level there, and we're really looking forward to that trip as well. The only difference is that one's going to be a split trip. These two trips that we've taken 7 days at one location. this next trip will be 5 days at Royal Plantation, 5 days at Royal Caribbean. To put it in perspective for cost, the 7 days at Dunn's River was more expensive than the 10 days we're going to do at the 2 different Sandal locations. So Dunn's River is really new, and they either charge you more because it's new or because there's an influx of people, or I'm not sure why, but the reason which we chose these 2 locations is our friends are going, and this is a trip for them they wanted to do, or they tried 2 different ones. They've already been to them, but this is like their showdown of some of the best in Jamaica. Yeah.
And also, if you have any questions or comments, you can put those in the comment section. We can try to answer any other questions.
Yeah.
I'll put some links too below. And
yeah.
All right, real quick, let's explain my Washington Commander shirt.
Here we go. Go ahead.
All right, real quick, just because I know you're dying to know. So I made an order on Walmart.com, and I wanted a Disney Villains shirt, and I picked out, it was this whole saying of a Disney villain shirt. Anyway, so I ordered it. I got came in the mail, and I opened my package, and it was a Washington Commander shirt. Not sure how they correlated a Disney villains shirt with a Washington Commander shirt. So what I did was I contacted them. They said, don't worry about it. You can keep the shirt. Go ahead and reorder it. I reorder my Disney villains shirt. It comes in the mail. I open the package. It is another Washington Commander shirt.
This was the first one. The next one's a black one with the W on it.
He's got it now.
Mm-hmm.
So are they trying to say something? I don't know. Anyway, I was mad at first. I can laugh about it now. But I guess
mad. all caps mad.
So I never. Long story short is I never got my Disney Villains shirt. I guess we're meant to be Washington Commanders fans now.
Long story short, you told the whole story.
Yes. But I never got my Disney Villains shirt. Is what I'm trying to say.
She was so mad, but now she laughs.
Yeah, it's funny. Just funny. I'm embracing it. You see.
But it's funny because that's the team that beat our Detroit Detroit
Lions.
Lions. Yeah, so it's very funny that it just kind of happened that way. So we're actually in the middle of that game right now. Where we're going to catch up on it here. So I guess go Washington Commanders. We don't know anything about you, but nope. you got this. Beat the Philadelphia Eagles. And that's it for our Silly Adventures. We have more things planned in the next few months, and I hope you all will join us. Bye.